So the business system that has to be protected by legal things. There should be a communication system. Cash flow should be established. There should be a product. So in order to run these business, there should be a team. That team should be led by leadership and management, and there should be a long-term plan, long-term direction. That
Vision.
all vision that is connected with the strategy. So the strategies are connected to mission. So based on the mission, the team are going to be led, and the leadership is going to follow, and the system is going to be established. Communications are going to be established. Cash flow will be focused. Product will be developed. Everything will be there. So legally, we are going to deal with. Okay.
Okay.
So these are the introduction that we can go for about business. Right now, the strategical part. So if you look at the business strategy, basically it's an understanding you have to have. It's a long-term direction. You need to understand business is not a one-day activity. We have to understand it's a long-term process. So we have to determine the long-term goals and objectives for enterprise. The short-term profitability is not the meaning for us. So we need to have long-term. So in order to make your long-term, you need to deal with your supplier also long-term basis, not your short. So that's why we have already understood different type of customer relationship management. We have discussed already. So these things should be considered long-term basis, right? In the resource allocation and resource utilization in order to bring more values to customers. So you have to think about it always in long-term basis. So it's a competitive strategy is all about being different. We will discuss about what is competitive advantage and how we are going to do a competitive strategy. This is our subject today. Okay.
Okay.
So actually, strategies are long-term direction of organization. This is also one of the concepts that we have to understand. And also we have to understand strategies are the stream of decisions. You know, strategies are decision taken based on the environmental analysis in order to manage the environment and utilize maximum the opportunities based on the strength that we have. At the same time, dealing with the threats by minimizing our weaknesses. So these are the area. Our weaknesses should be reduced. Opportunities should be increased. Right? Should be increased. So based on the strength, we have to capture opportunities. By minimizing the waste, we have to deal with the threat. So this is the idea the business is going to deal. So on that basis, the business is going to manage the supplier, even the distributor, even the customer, even employees, whoever who are connected to the business. So you have to consider these. Okay. Yeah, Reena, welcome. So we are discussing about strategical part. Okay. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me? Now,
Yes, sir.
Fatima, is that Fatima? Yeah,
No, this is Rima.
Rima. Okay, Rima. Actually, we're discussing about another portion of the subject. It's all about strategy and how we are going to deal with that business, especially dealing with the supply in terms of the strategical perspective. Okay.
Okay.
Right. So now we need to actually, this is not the main area. You know, the CIPS, when we look at the course, it has a vast area. They have touched all part of the business area, but shallowly, each part is now captured. If you dig the subject, actually strategy is a subject we have to teach for 3 months. You understand? But I'm going to finish it 1 day session. You understand? So in 2 hours. So it is sometime I will be little faster because I have already been given certain lesson within the time frame. The program has to be finished. At the same time, you also expect your exam and certificate, everything, right? So that's why the concept I will discuss. And if you have any question, you can ask me. Then we will discuss it. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Fine. Now you are dealing with always the business. The business is always focusing on strategical part. you have to understand what is the present situation, right? And also where we want to go, that you have to understand, and how we are going to get there. So these are the things. Where are we now? Where we want to go? How are we going to get there? This all connected with the planning. If you go for planning for long term, this is our strategy. You understand? Where are we now? So you are going to see our organizational situations, internal environment, external environment. You have to see business environment, and then industry conditions. Industry conditions, if you are going to analyze, there are certain frameworks are there. So you have to go and learn about it. And I'm not going to dig that subject now, connected with the industry conditions. But we have to identify generally what is all about business environment. If you look at the industry condition, for example, I can tell about the strategical part of the organization, the system of organization, the structure of organization, the value system of organization, the staff of the organization, and the skills of the organizations, how the things are established. This is what we call 7S McKinsey's model. So if you want to know, just go and click in the Google 7S McKinsey's model, discussing about industry conditions. And the business environment, if you want to know, you have to go and learn about SWOT analysis and PESTEL analysis. SWOT analysis is talking about your organizational strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats, right? PESTEL analysis, it talks about the political, that we will discuss, okay? We have an idea, subject.
Okay.
And firms' financial competitive capability, that also we have to understand in what is the competitors' situation now. We have to identify and benchmark what our organizations, and then you compare with your competitors' organizations. So how these organizations are now set up, already how things are progressing. So what is the situation? So how we are going to deal with the competition. So this all about, we are going to discuss today, coming under Porter's 5 forces competitive analysis. We'll discuss now. Okay, where do we want to go? So we have to have a direction. So you have to have the point that we want to reach. It should be set, already been predetermined. And then we have to move forward. There should be an action plan. How are we going to reach it? So in order to understand this concept, this is what you have to keep in mind. So can you look at these directions? Right? Where is the organization right now? Where the organization wants to be in the future. Okay? So this is the direction. This is the direction. So if you are going to have achieve this, reach this direction, you are going to think about how. How are strategies? You have to understand. How are strategies? How are you going to achieve? Right? You need to have you have to think about your finance. You have to think about your customer. You have to think about your operation. You have to think about your people. So based on these all, you have to design your strategical part. You have to assess your situation. You have to design, and also you have to build competitor analysis strategies. How are you going to set up your corporate strategies? That is winning the competition, go against the competitive, taking the competitive advantage. So we have to win the competition. Ultimately, the strategies are focusing how to win the competition, how to take market leadership, how to take our business to next level. So when you look at this, we are going to have some strategical planning, corporate goals, departmental goal, operational goal, and individual goals. These goals should be aligned. You understand? These goals should be aligned. Individually, if you are going to deal, for example, you are as a procurement manager, you are going to deal with the supplier. Individually, you should know what is your role and responsibility connected with the organizational strategy. So you should understand where your organization wants to move forward. What is your individual goal? That should be connected with your operational goal. And the operational goal is going to deal with the procurement activities, connect with the supplier. So you should understand how to manage your supplier in order to create more value to organization, and also make your customer happy and satisfied by creating values to them. So this idea you have to keep in your mind, right? So in order to understand these all, we have to dig the subject of strategy. So where are we now? We are using SWOT analysis. Where we want to go? We are going to set the direction considering all. So we are going to manage. How are you going to manage? We are going to take action. Action plan we are going to have. We are going to do our data analysis and review our plan. Okay. So based on our action, we are going to have your review daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, quarterly, and yearly review meetings are there. These review meetings are going to give you an idea whether the plan is in progress, whether it is achievable, what are the ups and downs, what are the area we have a challenging, so how are we going to deal with, what are the risks we have, so how are we going to mitigate it, how we are going to achieve this our plan. So you are going to look at these all kind of situations in order to manage your strategical part. You understand all?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So the organization should take some strategical decision. So we understood strategies are decisions, long-term direction, connected decision. What is that? Your long-term directions of organization is a decision. Scope of organization, how the organization is going to function. These are decision. Gaining advantage over competition. These are decision. How are you going to take your competitive advantage? How you are going to think about it? And addressing the changes in business environment. So you have to look into the environment and then you take a decision. This is our situation. How are we going to manage the situation in terms of political, economical, social, technological, legal environment, and building on resources and competencies and values and expectations of stakeholder. How are we going to create the values to the people who are connected with our business, including from customer to supplier. So you have to understand, right? So at the same time, we have to consider business is a complex in nature. Strategies are in complex. There are uncertainties are there. Yes, definitely there are certain decision will affect our operation, affect sometime people also, right? So whatever the decisions are taken, that should be integrated. It should be connected. So inside out approach. Here, two people. Okay. Okay. So you have to connect these people, basically inside out approach. What do you mean? You have to always look at the outside environment and then you have to set up everything inside, right? Outside in approach. So you have to always look at outside environment. You have to set up everything inside, right? This is the best way of dealing with the strategy. Why? Outside is changing every day. Political, economical conditions are changing every day. Social conditions, legal conditions are changing every day. So you have to always go according to the environmental changes. So you have to look at this outside of the organization, what is going on. So based on that, you have to set up everything inside. Then only there is a possibility for winning the competition. For example, outside you have your competitors. You have to look at the competition, how these competitors are moving forward. You have to understand this. And then you have to set up your organization. Like based on the decision you are taking, you are going to deal with your suppliers, right? So these are the things you have to consider. As I discussed, strategy is all about how to outcompete the rivalry, meaning the competition, how to respond to the economic and market condition and growth opportunities, how to manage functional piece of business, how are you going to deal with that, how to improve firm's financial market performance. These things should be considered when you are bringing your strategy. Okay. So if you are going to go for a strategic model, actually you have to understand the strategic positioning and strategic choices, strategy in action. Okay, so I will briefly, actually this one, the slide which I posted here on the screen. Now you can see it is a book more than 900 pages. Okay. Exploring strategic model, this concept, the three circles, there are certain strategic position, strategic choices, and strategy action. So these three concepts discussed in 900 pages in strategic management book. Okay, I have captured here from there. So this slide is all about talking about the business strategy model, right? If you are interested, I can share the book and you can read it if you want to, okay? Right. The strategic position, all about your environment, your capability, resource capability, your organizational purpose, why organization exists, and then culture. So these are the area you have to focus on your strategic position. And also you have to think about strategic choices, how you are going to deal with your business. So business wise, what is your strategy? As in corporate level, how you are going to deal with that? International level, how are you going to deal with that? And what is your innovation strategy? How you are going to acquire the new businesses? How you are going to align the businesses? These are the strategic choices, how you are moving forward in the future. This idea should be considered. At the same time, once you have taken a decision, this is how you are going to function in the future. So we have a growth strategy. I have already in the screen, in the slides I have included. So you have a competitive analysis, competitors strategy, then we will discuss all. So when you are going to go for strategy in action, you have to evaluate so the strategic process, how organizations are practicing, what are the changes that you are going to bring it, and how you are going to implement it, what are the processes. These all should be considered when you focus on strategy. So these are the things you have to keep in mind. Okay. So when you look at the
Okay.
strategic position, it is connected to the understanding about external environment and understanding your organizational capability. The capabilities are connected with the resources. Resources, one of the resource, internal resource, your people. External resource, your supplier. Yeah. Right? So if your supplier, not supportive to you, if your employees who are not supportive to you, who are not taking care of about winning the competition or taking your business to the next level, if they don't want to contribute to you, then your business will be in trouble. So you are unable to continue. So you have to understand these resources should become competitive resource that should take against the competition. You are going to deal with that. Organization and goal and organizational culture. These things should be always focused. Okay. So this one I discussed already. So fundamental questions when you're dealing with strategy, you have to put that in your mind. What are the environment opportunities and threats we have externally? And what are the organizational strength and weakness internally we have? What are the organizational strength? What are the weaknesses? Right? We have to always understand this. For example, your internal strength, your people, right? Your internal strength, your system, your internal strength, your culture, your strength, internal strength, that the strategy that you are in. So what kind of strategy you are in? Are you in a cost leadership? We are going to discuss about it. Are you going to be in innovation, focus, so differentiation? What kind of strategy you are in? So based on the business that you are planning to move forward, that is your strength. Okay. And what is the basic purpose of organization? Why your organization exists? That you should consider. Why we start a business? What is the purpose of this business? Ultimately, what you want from the business? You have to be very clear. That's why I told you the purpose of the business. Ultimately, we need to bring customers, create more customers. According to Peter Drucker, he says creating customer is the organizational objective. When you start a business, you create customers. If you don't have customer, imagine what you will do. Everything will be there, no customers. So it will be a cost to you. You don't have sale, but you have cost. You have administrative cost, you have operational cost, you have production cost. Yeah, there are taxation, you have to pay lots of things, but all costs are there. If you don't have sale, everything out. So you have to always understand the purpose of the business is to create profitability. Yes, at the same time, bring customers to organization and making your customers happy and satisfied. In order to make your customers happy and satisfied, you have to think about the value creations. In the value creation process, we discussed already, supply chain is playing a great role. Under that, we have to deal with the supplier value proposition, suppliers relationship. plays a vital role. This is the understanding we need to have. So how does the culture shape the strategy? So you have to set up your organizational culture. How you work with, how you are going to deal with your supply, deal with your competition, how you're going to manage system. So these kind of things should clearly define. So what is your level of power layers? The power layers are business structures. How you are going to structure your business. So your corporate, your operational level, your business unit level, and also your corporate level. How you set your power layers. How you are going to manage your communication system, right? These things should be very much considered. Okay. And the strategical choices we discussed already. So these are the direction and methodology that we are going to deal with. So the key area, the choices dealing with business level strategy, corporate level strategy, international level, innovation, acquisition, and alliances. So fundamental questions, the strategic choices you are going to understand. One, how should the business units compete? This is very important. How your business is going to compete with the competitors. So you should understand who is your competitor. Who are the competitors? So what is their strengths and weaknesses? How are you going to deal with them? How are you going to manage them? We have a concept that we are going to discuss here, markets, different type of markets that we are going to deal based on the competitors. Okay. So we have to identify that what is the business unit, how they are going to deal with that competition, which business include and what is their portfolio, and where should the organization compete internationally and locally, and is the organization innovating appropriately. So the organization should think about changing, should be dynamic. Why organization should be dynamic and changing? Now you are dealing with the strategy, what do you call supplier management. You are dealing with a supplier. Your process of managing your supplier, especially there are certain things you are going to deal with. But when you look at the market change, when you look at the environmental change, when you look at that organizational next level planning, you have to also understand and also include in your deal with the supplier. So you have to accommodate these kind of things, and also should organization by other companies. This is what they call merging. You are going to merge with other organization, and also go for alliances. These are the strategic choices that you are going to go for, how the business is going to deal in the future. At the beginning, you are not going to merge, you are not going to align, because you are very initial level. When the business is growing and then gone to far away, and then you don't want to depend on the people, right? So you have to think about your suppliers. Why can't you own your supply? So sometimes you will think about, we have enough resources, why we want to go for outsourcing? We have to in-house, so in-source, you understand? Also, we already had a distribution. Why can't we go for in-house? So why don't we establish our transportation system, warehouse system in the future, right? This is how the business is going to move forward in order to reduce their cost, increase their profitability, and based on their capacity, based on their competitive, the resource capability, so they can move forward. Okay. So strategy in actions, when you're dealing with, we have to go for the process, certain way you are going to deal with. So which strategy is suitable? That's a strategy acceptable and feasible. So you have taken different, what do you call, brainstorming, and then you have identified there are different type of strategies. For example, your organization is going to have, we will discuss this kind of strategies now. Cost leadership strategies there, so focusing on lower price, and we have differentiation strategies there, that's focusing on innovations or differentiation, and we have focus strategies are there. These organizations are focusing on certain things only. So based on that strategies, what strategy the business is going to take, so which one is suitable for them for their current positioning, right? Based on their resource capabilities, based on their business venture that they have to go in, they are going to take it. So what is acceptable, what is feasible, they are going to see what kind of strategy making process needed to go, and what are the required organizational structure system. How should organization manage necessary changes? who should do what in the strategic process. So these are the questions you have to keep in your mind when you are implementing strategy. You understand this?
Yeah.
When dealing with the strategy, you have to keep these all in your mind. Okay. So in summary, strategic position, strategic choices, strategy in action. There are certain questions you have to keep in mind in dealing with your strategic positioning and dealing with the strategic choices that you are going to take forward and then implement. So these are the questions I have discussed. You have to remember this. Okay, in terms of the strategic understanding. Right, if you're going to take your organization dealing with the strategical part, the firm strategy focus on changing market condition, advancing technology, and fresh movers of competitors, you have to understand, and shifting buyers' needs, emerging market opportunities, and new ideas for improving the strategies. These are the things the organization should think about. So far, what I discussed all about the strategical perspective that you have to understand. So these ideas are, should be clear. These ideas should be clear in your mind because